Yeah, they're going so much harder on these people than they are Gamulus. Gamulus fucking bombarded the planet into nothing. These guys just showed up for a little bit and messed with the power network. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, and we're back with another episode of Space Battleship Yamato. We come back as we normally do, except for one exception. There is no change to the board log. Board log. There's no change to the board change log. Uh, Nothing really appreciable happened last episode to change any relationships between any of the characters, and we neither gained nor lost anybody. So, if you want to see what the board is like, the link is down below as it normally is. Otherwise, we have notes and comments. So let's get into some notes real quick. So the comet is flying down on the same angle that the transmission is coming from. Confusingly, the graphic showing the direction that the message is coming from has an animation making it seem like it's coming from behind them and transmitting out towards the comet. Either way, it is odd happenstance that Tesseract, Earth, and the comet would be in line with one another. I get the comet is heading towards Earth, and that Tesseract is beaming towards Earth, but why do both things coincide with the same straight line? Kind of an insult to Ihara that Shima keeps jumping up to take over his station when the signal comes up. I get that he's the helmsman, but at what point does that make him the best at honing in on a signal or triangulating it? Sonata should be the one figuring out where the signal comes from. Ahara should be the one honing in on it. That is their skill set. Shima should be the one piloting the ship that way after they've done everything. At this point, I just suspect he's going to fall in love with Teresa once we get there, as gun-ho as he is to talk to her. Dessler is acting exactly as I would expect of a returning villain, focused on his enemies and scolding the new villains. It's like when I watched Power Rangers back in the 90s and a new villain would appear every season, but the old villains would stick around in the background, heckling the failures of the new characters. Tomato plants usually live for one growing season, which is 6 to 8 months while outdoors, but can last at least or up to 2 to 5 years in a good greenhouse. We see the tomato plants grow from buds, wilt, and die in the Yamato's greenhouse in the span of 5 seconds. From the moment their clothes start deteriorating to the moment they leave the area, 188 seconds pass. That would mean, if the Yamato had a shitty greenhouse, everyone would have aged 19 years at the low end, 37 years on the high end. I don't think they really thought through the visuals versus the text of what they indicated to be happening. All right, and as I said, we have a comment, Bubba707 from the episode Space Storm, and they've typed out quite a block for us, so let's dig on in. Really enjoying these comment readings, so I thought I'd give my 2 cents. Granted, Yamato is most likely my favorite anime of all time. It was the first one I watched, so it's definitely a top 3. But I think some production discussion is in order because I haven't seen anyone, at least in the comments I've gone through, mentioned Yoshinobu Nishizaki. Sorry, I apologize, I'm bad with Japanese names. This is long, so bear with me. Yamato's early production history was very tumultuous. Sorry. I'm just also an idiot. I guess that's also an exception. Yamato's early production history was very tumultuous, to say the least. Yoshinobu Nishizaki is a co-creator and is often credited with the original concept of a crew going into space to save the Earth from alien forces and radiation bombs and the quest for Iskander. The original proposal and concept was known as an asteroid ship Icarus, and the crew were originally going to be international. I suggest searching it up. Some of the very early proposal art is quite different and interesting. Nishizaki, to put lightly, was quite the character, owned a jazz club, and was a jazz radio personality. So with his background, he started working at Mushi Pro on Triton of the Sea, and sorry, I only paused for a second there because I thought maybe I skipped a line. He started working at Mushi Pro on Triton of the Sea and Waza Kun to Tezuka adaptations. So I'm not all the way there on a bunch of 60s and 70s anime, so I didn't first understand that you were talking about different shows, I thought for a moment, since you introduced the fact that they were a jazz personality, that these were going to be jazz songs that you were talking about. It's fair to note Yoshiyuki Tamano, who made Gundam, was an animator on Triton of the Sea as well. But due to an apparent copyright mix-up on Nishizika's part, it is widely believed he was embezzling money from Mushi. Tezuka lost the rights to the anime versions of both series. Nishizaki left and decided to take the risk of an original serialized sci-fi series. Obviously, they later realized they wouldn't have clout needed to move forward with production without a manga artist influence. That's where Leiji Matsumoto came in, and as history shows, when the ship got rid of the giant rock and became the resurrected Battleship Yamato, all characters and mechanical designs for most of the series were Matsumoto. A fun fact, Mamoru Kudai originally would have had a different path. After dying, he wouldn't have been taken to Iskander, but taken up a new identity, and that identity would have been Captain Harlock. I could see that. I mean, their silhouettes aren't that different. I mean, he would be a younger Captain Harlock, but sure. But there was one problem. Ratings were abysmal to the point the original 39 episodes to 26. Thus, Harlock was used in his own series, became his own character, and is in Leiji's other works. But Yamato had a passionate, and I mean passionate, small fan following. I mean, yeah, sure, like Battlestar Galactica or Farscape, both shows that got canceled, and then their fan following got them back on the air again. A lot of the first fanzines and dojins were based off Yamato. In a last-ditch effort, Nishizaki compiled a compilation movie for Once Last Chance, and it was a phenomenon leading to the sequel series and basically proof original long-form sci-fi storytelling could work. Not just kids manga adaptations, and well. The rest is history, if Gundam and Eva have anything to say about it. I need to give a warning, after Series 2, the series will become more convoluted. I personally love the later films, Be Forever and Final Yamato. But the divide between Nishizaki and Matsumoto basically came to a head in Farewell, and things never changed. This is why many choices, especially in the later films, as much as I love them, are kind of all over the place. Beautiful, awesome naval action scenes, but conceptually, I understand why a lot of people wouldn't enjoy them as much. Nishizaki had a lot of ambition, and sometimes it was hard to rein in. For example, Dessler's War was a proposed sequel after Yamato to be spun off of Dessler, which I would have loved, but Nishizaki was sinking in too much money, and many of those projects failed to ever materialize. Odin Photon Sailor Starlight was the first film after Yamato, and man, does it show what happens when no one reins him in. Yamato's rights are very fractured. Nishizaki and Matsumoto went to court over who had full rights. Nishizaki argued full authorship. But I was shit you not, he was caught smuggling 2 automatic rifles, 1,800 bullets, and 30 howitzer shells, and some drugs, leading him to court over who had full rights. Nishizaki argued full authorship, but just about to read the same line over again. Sorry, the problem is that this is a full-on paragraph, so this isn't broken up into anything. So sometimes my shit-ass eyes, I am just reading the same line over and over again. If you see me pause, I'm either just taking a breath or trying to make sure that I'm not about to loop back around to the same line. There is a version of me out there somewhere who would be like picking up old man glasses and at the bridge of my nose reading stuff. Just so you know, I'm in the same age range probably as a lot of you that loved this show back in the day. To serve 2 years in prison and being released in 2003. So Nishizaki has original concept authorship, but all the characters, designs, and art are owned by Matsumoto. Nishizaki eventually got some money from Yamato Hashi Slot Games. I'm assuming that's a thing in Japan that I'm not familiar with. And Yamato Resurrection, a Yamato revival that is way too complicated to explain further with how hellish production of it was, but it eventually came out in 2009. Despite being in development since 1992. Nishizaki died falling off his yacht from partying and drowning in 2010, a very odd ending for a very eccentric and complicated man. I've yet to watch the reboot series. I'm waiting for all of it to be released to where it completely covers the original series in full, but from what I heard, it's really great at fixing up the plot holes and developing characters who got little to no screen time. The numerous new ships and mecha added certainly doesn't hurt either. Rebel 3199 in current series, as of time of me writing, I hear is incredibly good at this given Be Forever is a 2-hour film, and many of those characters don't get to shine as much as they should. Hideki Anno himself with Studio Kara is working on a 50th anniversary reboot film based on the quest to Iskander, but it's pre-planning. Given it's his favorite anime and how much influenced all of his work, Nadia Gunbuster Eva has from Yamato, I am beyond hyped to see what he does with it whenever the film comes out. I think I heard about that. I think that's what originally inspired me to watch Yamato at all. I think I was looking at a website for the 50th anniversary that announced that, and I think it was like a gold version of the Yamato, like a desk thing that you could buy. Cool reactions. If you are ever curious, I highly recommend checking out Tim Eldred's website, Cosmo DNA, which is basically the biggest English language archive of all Yamato news, director interviews, manga, production accounts, comparisons between reboot and original series, and anything in between. It is an invaluable resource for finding anything in English related to Yamato in any capacity. Cheers. I mean, I probably actually have been there. If you have seen some of my earlier episode stuff, I went over the magazine that covered Analyzer discussing why where the women crew went. And I'm pretty sure I must have gotten that from that website. Because I also was looking at an image on there that was of the Gameless command structure. And it had pictures of characters and everything, but it didn't have names for any of those characters. So I was like, this feels kind of like a spoiler, but there's no names here, and I've never seen any of these people before. So there was nothing I could really do with that, but yeah, I think I've seen that website. Obviously, I didn't crawl around there looking at stuff because there's way more show that I haven't seen or in movies than there is that I have seen. So too much to spoil because obviously don't spoil me, bro. Yeah. So, all that said, that's all we have before the episode. So nothing left to do but to hop on in and see what we get.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
You know, the element that I have to talk over the opening every time, and also that I do all my notes and discussion and comment stuff before I start watching the show, it always occurs to me that there should probably be some element of crossover between the two that I should do on like some production level. Like, we all know that I'm gonna have to talk over the opening. We all know that I'm gonna have to block out the opening. Well, the ending, but that's not what I'm talking about currently. The element that I should at some point figure out how to just overlap the opening bit of talking that I do with the. I guess the thing is that I have that call to action in between the talking and this, right? And that call to action kind of makes that cut up hard. Because I'll just be in the middle of reading your comment, and then all of a sudden the call to action pops up. Hey, you like what you're seeing? Check out the Patreon. Click the subscribe button. Comment down below. Blah, 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 blah. And then come back and I'm still reading your comment. It'd just be a weird division of events. I think I've done it before too. アンドロメダから銀河系へと広大な宇宙をひた走る一つの彗星があった。それは大帝ズオーダーに率いられた彗星都市帝国であった。アンドロメダ星雲を制圧した彗星帝国。You know what would probably been cool? Seeing any of that. I understand it's like the Bosnians from Voltaire 5. They're galactic conquerors, right? We don't even see them conquer a planet. We just know that they're galactic conquerors. It'd be good to establish this stuff by showing us that. Granted, they did show us them attacking like one planet. The Comet Empire, I mean. We did see them take one planet out, and then this show starts proper, but... It'd be nice to establish what the threat is, and then have them wander into it unknowingly. You're familiar with the movie Cube. How one of the people dies to a trap in the movie Cube, and then we start the movie proper. So that we know what to be fearful of the characters in the movie. I was just about to say, they must have increased the communications distance. Because once they left the solar system in the first season, they couldn't do this. I mean, you could tell them about the translated signal more than you had before. I mean, you could send the coordinates of the last fight you were at. And they could have the Andromeda come out and investigate the wreckage, which would probably give you a lot of information. Especially since they just said, no matter what the cost, give us information. Which is 10 times the distance of your cannons, as we already know. Boy, I sure do love these guys. I sure do love when some random guy who just forcibly joined our crew punches one of our guys from the first season in the face. Well, this rings a lot like Kodai in the first season as well. Again, the hypocrisy. I remember when Kodai tried to launch in the middle of a storm and nearly got killed for it. I mean, we should probably be concerned at the fact that these things... Well, I guess one got to Earth without a ship. So I guess they can travel just like in space on their own. Great, disobeying orders too. Well, good thing you're shit at piloting. So legit, this guy who can barely maneuver the thing is gonna take out the thing. The other guy... Saito wasn't a horrible character in the movie. He got like no fucking time. But here, they're giving him all the time to be a fuck up and to fucking hate him. Punch him. There we go. You were cocked back from the moment you got in the frame. Remember Okada would send people to the fucking brig? How is Saito not in the fucking brig yet? Yeah, electrocardiograms, man. I remember every time I've been in a hospital, I've been hooked up to one of those machines, it would be screaming all the time because I just couldn't get a good connection to my skin. I guess anyone monitoring my signs, I'd be a dead man. That's a weird. I can understand doing blood work and then the electrocardiogram. But then they measured his brain in the middle of that. That's very weird. Oh, we're gonna go hardcore. Oh no, that's testing the metal. I got it. I thought we were about to go hardcore interrogation. We're gonna see the strength of the materials that they work with, I guess. We're doing so much more than we ever did for the Gameless people. So did he have like black eyes, or did they put like a thing over his eyes? Yeah, they're going so much harder on these people than they are Gameless. Gameless fucking bombarded the planet into nothing. These guys just showed up for a little bit and messed with the power network. When he was floating in the middle of space, he could have been lost. Sweating pretty hard. I guess it was the pain you button. It's crazy. Legitimately, the Gamalians did so much worse to us, and we didn't torture that guy. We showed what humanity was. We sent him back with food. The Common Empire has done so much less. These are our heroes, by the way.
我々は一刻も早く宇宙で起こっていることを調べなければならないんです。ああ、早くしてください。いやいや。待て山田。おそらくこいつは死んでも尋問に答えないだろう。答え。敵にも立派な奴はいる。こいつはなかなかの戦士だぞ。佐藤先生、しばらくこいつの面倒を見てやってください。あ、わかった。
I mean, at least Kodai and the Doctor are here from season 1, so... Saito's gonna fuck everything up, though. How many episodes until I like Saito? Or is he gonna go way over the edge and I'm never gonna like him?
何か特別な訓練を受けてきたとしか思えん。機関長、それはどういう？ひょっとしたら奴は初めからヤマトに捕獲されるのを目的として、その可能性もある。
Yeah. The other guy was just attacking them as a test before. This could be a test too.
調査の方法が間違ってたのよ。間違ってたって何を？佐渡先生がお酒を勧めたらね、飲み始めたのよ。尋問を始めるなら。 まず心を開かせてからにするべきだったわ。古代、放っておいて大丈夫か?
I mean, whatever gets results, right? You literally just sat there and watched me get tortured for a bit without intervening. Why would you intervene now on this?
いやー、いい飲みっぷりだ。ささもう一杯。おっと、その前にと。さ飲め。ありがとうございます。
It's weird that they draw them like almost exactly human, though. I get an early Star Trek just because what could you do prosthetics wise? But this is the animation. They could have drawn him as anything. He's gonna try to escape, and he's gonna run into Saito, who's gonna kill him for trying to escape, and of course, what all of his dead men. Nine 999-0243. It's funny to consider that if you want to contact someone in the ship, you might have to memorize a phone number. Let him escape, see where he goes. We know that they know about Earth and Earth stuff already. If not from their long-distance stuff, then Dessler. So there'll be no reason for this guy to be here just to gather information. Well, that explains the confusing bit on the next time on from last time. Why there was a person wearing a Yamato uniform in green. Here's hoping they put a tracking device in it.
太田追尾しろ。了解。島頼むぞ。了解。任しとけ古代。もかじパーイ。デスタール隊長、デスタール隊長、こちら特別機動工作。
See, at first I thought that was a translation error when they were talking to somebody named Death Star. I was like, oh, they mean Dessler?
メーザー何をしていた。ヤマトを引っ張り出してきました。直ちに戦闘配備を。メーザー、隊長に命令するつもりか。貴様はヤマトの捕虜になっていたのだろう。しかし、私は機密に触れることは一切。メーザーもういい。どこへでも好きなところへ消え失せろ。
Go where?
捕虜になった者を甘い顔をして引き取るとでも思っているのか。デスタール隊長。デスタール隊長。無駄だ。実は変えられん。直ちに消え失せろ。
When you're trying to attack your own ships? It's pretty clear at this point this guy's not getting home. I legit thought he was gonna ram.
敵艦隊発見。艦首前方13万宇宙キロ。ビデオパネルチェンジ。よーし、艦隊ごと吹っ飛ばしてやる。待て南部。太田、拡大投影しろ。はい。よく見てみろ。あいつは着艦を拒否されてるぞ。お、こっちへ向かってくる。相原、更新チャンネルを開け。
Are we gonna get a Comet Empire new member of the crew? That what's his name is going to kill?
ヤマトより飛行艇、ヤマトより飛行艇。宇宙戦艦ヤマト艦長代理古代進だ。我々は今君を捕虜としてではなく戦士として迎える用意がある。返事をしてくれ。今の君を温かく迎えたい。
Again, you know our dude's just gonna murder this guy. He is the worst of us, I guess. I mean, very presumptuous that he would know how to land on this fucking ship. Well, fuck, man. Just the worst on both sides.
古代、なぜあいつはまっすぐ突っ込むのをやめたんだろう。わからん。
Are we trying to imply that even though he suicided on the ship, that he was intentionally trying to do the least amount of damage possible? I mean, arguably, he did no damage at all, which is also very confusing. As they pointed out, he had missiles on board. I'm waiting for the fight not to be completed this episode. There's only 3 minutes left in the episode. Either this is going to be the shortest fleet engagement ever. I mean, to be fair, D-Star is so much not a character, he's not even on the board yet. He's not one of our main Comet Empire commanders. See? I guess I was wrong about continuing this fight into the next episode, because we literally just walked through them. I guess that shows how much better the Gameless Empire was to the Combat Empire. I mean, sometimes it took more than one shot to take out a Gameless ship. Those were like one and dones.
しかし、ヤマトの人々にとってその死は深い痛みとなって残ったのである。その間にも白色彗星は地球を目指しているのだ。
I don't know why they said the mission for information ended with a failure. They got some information. Like, they didn't know what kind of people they were before. Nah, it's not much of a hint. They'll fire the wave motion cannon for anything. Also, I guess that's more their fault. They had the ship, like, tied up. They could have boarded it and tried to download any information they had on board. You know, navigation charts, or at least recent navigation history. Readouts on the weapons, etc. Like, I don't know exactly what the connection to the ships would have been to be able to get information from it, but they had all the opportunity. They weren't, like, eye-gawking around what the doctor was doing with the guy, I guess. So I can only imply that that's the period of time where they would have gotten that information and that they then failed to get that information. Again, it's still very weird to me that she's naked in the outro and yet fully clothed in the episode. What's the point of this? Is this to sell it to that male audience? Also very weird that, I just want to address that not misconception, that, I guess, strangeness. If this is being sold to a male audience, don't you think there would be more women? Is it like some sort of macho thing that there can't be women aboard that ship? Because I think if you were trying to sell it to women, and again, the idea of naked Teresa there, you would want more women on the ship, more eye candy, let's say, for your male audience to look at. But I guess that's a weird thing about like 70s and 80s cartoons or things of that nature. They weren't about selling you on eye candy, even though that's the only reason that they included women in the shows. I don't know, it's a weird misogyny thing, I feel like. Even in Gundam, 79 Gundam, I'm not going to take advice on how to fight from a woman, and then literally in the same episode, you have any idea what I should do, Sayla? This is all a very stupid track. Anyway, this was a mirror to the Season 1 episode, where we captured the pilot, and then we're very humane, and just let him go, and took some food. Like I said, we're a very different crew than we were in Season 1. Okada would put people on the brig for fighting. This dude's running around the ship. He stole a fighter and got into a fist fight with one of the pilots. He's still doing whatever the fuck he wants, running up on the bridge, whatever. Really not liking this guy. Anyway, long ramble. I guess we'll just come back next episode and see what we have there. So, once again, I have been Theta, this has been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?